The purpose of this class is to give a general framework on the role of women in Judaism. Now, what I mean is with general framework is that each community takes these core and main ideas and then applies it according to the customs of that community. That means you're going to see one community behaving in one way regarding women, another community behaving in a different way regarding women, but the main and core ideas on the religious Orthodox communities is exactly the same. Now, the truth is, you cannot talk about men without talking about women. You cannot talk about women without talking about men, and that's written actually in the scriptures. The scripture says that God saw that it's not good for men to be alone. So God said, I'm going to do for him a help against him. Now, this is a contradiction. If it's help, it's not against him. If it's against him, it's not help. So what is he talking about? There are a few things that come out of this text. First idea is, just as I said, you cannot talk about one of them without talking about the other one, because they actually complement each other. Second idea is, if he is meritory, then she's going to be a help for him. If he is not meritory, then she's going to be against him. So actually, it depends on their relationship, whether it's actually a complement or actually a war. Our sages say that when he behaves as a king, she is a queen. And when he does not behave as a king, she is not a queen. So it's basically the same point, the same idea. Now, are they the same? They're not the same. And how do you know that? Because when you see the physical world, when you see a woman and when you see a man, you actually see differences. You have to be kind of blind not to see the differences. And those differences actually are expressions of a spiritual meaning. That means that the physical world we see around, it's an expression of a spiritual world. Since you see differences in the body of men and the body of women, this means that actually there's something deeper that marks differences. This does not mean, this is a very important point, that on the society there should be different, in front of law there should be different. They're not different actually. Women should have the same opportunities as men have. Now, that means that they should do the same thing. They are exactly the same. They think the same. They feel the same. No, they're really different. This you can see. But in front of the law, we're all human beings and we're all the same. Now, what are the differences between men and women? After God created man and woman, God said to them, Pru urvu umilu. You should multiply, make many, many children, and conquer the world. Now, the way it's written, kivshuha, conquer the world, actually it's written kavsha, which means he should go out and conquer the world. And she? No, it's not her role to go out and conquer the world. It's rather his role is from the inside to the outside. Her role is in the inside itself. And this you can see in the different precepts, different commandments that God gave to men and God gave to women. The commandments that God gave to men is in the synagogue, in the temple, go out and do this and work and bring the money, etc., and do this and do that, always outside. The commandments that God gave to women actually is inside the house. Take care of kashrus, which means the proper eating rules for Jews. Take care of family purity, which means things that only she knows exactly how they work. So this gives us a very, very general framework of men going from the inside to the outside, setting, so to speak, the rules, and women in the inside taking care of the most precious things that a family has. The eating, the purity, the education of the small children. This is more given to women than to men. Now, in a spiritual sense, men is compared to chokhmah. Chokhmah means wisdom. And women are compared to bina. Bina means understanding. What's the difference between wisdom and understanding? Wisdom means like the core and main idea of an idea. The main thing that forms an idea. For instance, when you have an idea but you don't really understand it, you just have the idea, like I have it in the tongue, in the tip of my tongue, but I don't really understand it. I cannot share it. I just have the thought, the main core point of the idea. This is called chokhmah. This is called wisdom. This is like men. which is also compared to one of the letters of God's name. God's name has 4 letters, a Yud, a Hey, a Vav, and a Hey. It doesn't really matter all the details of all the letters, but the Yud is like a small letter. This is compared to men. Now women are compared to the second letter of God's name, which is a Hey, which has actually a form, and inside of it has a Yud, has a small point, which is a Yud. This means women can develop the ideas that men have. Actually, our sages say, what is a good woman? A good woman is that which does the will of a man. So it sounds really bad. Like, what's a woman? The will of a man? I want you to do this, I want you to do that. That's a good woman? No. The woman is able to develop and really reveal within man what he really wants, what he really is. That's a good woman that can help him develop. Of course, she also has to develop herself in order to be a help for his man. So that's actually another explanation of Eizer Kenegdot, a help against him. If she is really with him, she's going to help him. If she's not with him, she's not going to be able to help him. She's going to be against him. So it depends actually on both this idea of a combination and complementary thing between both of them. This same idea of inside and outside, you can see it actually in the body, because just as I said, the body is an expression, the physical world is an expression of a spiritual world. The men's organs, actually sexual organs, are outside. Women's sexual organs are inside. This shows you a specific focus that God gives to men and women. Now, in a general way, there's a man that goes outside, and there's a woman that comes inside. The man is actually a giver, usually, and a woman is a receiver, but there are aspects of both of them in both of them. Sometimes a man is a giver also and a receiver. Sometimes a woman is a receiver and a giver also. So, what does it mean that man is a giver and a woman is a receiver? Just as I explained, you can see it in the sexual organs, and you can see it in the sexual actually unity. Man gives it like a drop of semen into the woman, and the woman develops this into a baby, into a man, into a human being. This shows a few ideas, general framework and ideas on the difference of man and women, and on the role of man and women. You cannot talk about the role of man without the role of women. You cannot talk about the role of women without the role of men, because actually they make a unity. And that's why the Torah says, in the scriptures, it says that they should become together and become one. You should be together and become one, because only when you have both aspects, only when you have both ideas, you can actually move forward. And this is the will of the Creator, that there should be a unity between these two different and sometimes oppository aspects in order to become a one thing. And this, between both of them, helps us to reveal the unity of God in the whole creation, because you have a spiritual world and you have a physical world, and they're actually opposites. So how do you bring them together? When you have a unity within yourself, when you have a unity within your family, that helps to bring down the revelation of God's presence in the whole world.